What would be you and your group's contribution to this new industry here in Denmark?
So we will be focusing on developing yeast cell factories for production of chemicals. Yeast cell factories are known already widely in industry, and so it's a cell factory that the industry can already has good experience with. It has a number of advantages in terms of operation in the industry, but it's also relatively easy to engineer. We have a lot of knowledge about it, so therefore it's good to work with. And we will develop this yeast cell factories to produce chemicals from sugars.
Why are you going to concentrate on yeast as one of your model cell factories?
Because it is already widely used for production of bread, beer, wine, and it's also used for bioethanol production. So it's widely implemented, and as I said before, also it's very easy to work with. There is a lot of knowledge. Yeast is also used as a general model organism in academic research. So we have a lot of knowledge accumulated around yeast, and which makes it a good choice for this kind of applications.
What is the biggest challenge if the world has to switch from fuel-based chemistry to bio-based chemistry?
So in a bio-based industry, we use plant as the raw material, and then what we do is we have what we call cell factories, microbial cell factories that convert the sugar from the plants into the chemicals that we can then use in the traditional chemical industry. And the biggest challenge to do this is to make these microbial cell factories very efficient, so they can do this conversion process fast and efficient, and cheap also. So cheap comes in what we normally call yield. That means that we need to get a lot of product from every grams of sugar that we put in, and so these are the things we have to work on, and this we can do by engineering the cell factories. And the engineering we do of these cell factories is using genetic engineering in a very directed fashion. So we go in and change these cell factories so they get new properties and can then do this conversion process.
With such a paradigm shift to bio-based chemistry, will oil then be left in the ground and not be used anymore?
No, I think oil will always be used, and particularly also because it's relatively easy and cheap to get. But what we will see is that by introducing some bio-based processes, we will be able to use oil longer, so the oil we have can last longer for specific applications, and we will see certain areas where bio-based solutions will play in, and oil will still find applications in other areas.
When do you expect to have your first breakthrough in your center?
We need to work on getting many of these different technologies assembled. Today I see that we have many different pieces that we need to put together. I think we can do that quite fast, and when we get that kind of assembled, I see a little bit that we can have a pipeline where we can develop yeast cell factories quite efficient and quite fast for production of many different chemicals. And so this is actually one of the strengths also about biology, is the versatility. So you can produce many different chemicals using the same platform.
Which oil-based processes are you expecting first and foremost to change?
We are working on a chemical called 3-hydroxypropionic acid, and that we expect to be the first one to come out of the pipeline. So 3-hydroxypropionic acid can go into...
Do you have another word for that? For everybody to understand what you're talking about?
No, we normally call it that. Is 3HP. We could call it as an abbreviation. But yeah, it can then be converted into bioplastics, exactly. So 3-hydroxypropionic acid can be polymerized, and then it becomes bioplastic, and it can go into diapers, for example. It can go into packaging for Coke bottles and so on.
What do you expect to be the impact of cell factories on the overall assessment in the Danish society?
So there is in Denmark a long tradition for biotechnology, starting with Carlsberg, but also today with companies like Novo, Novo, Novo Nordisk and Christian Hansen. And so there is a long tradition for using microbial cell factories for production of different compounds, enzymes and pharmaceuticals and so on. And so the technologies and the know-how we will generate in this center here can quite easily be spun out and be used in the Danish industry, maybe also as new spin-out and new companies of the future, to then create new jobs.
But if all these companies are already using the cell factory, what is then so unique about the way you are going to use it?
So none of these companies are today, to a large extent, actually producing chemicals for the traditional chemical industry. There's not a very large chemical industry in Denmark traditionally, but this can be a game change where you can say we have in Denmark a lot of technology, we have a lot of know-how that can actually be used in driving forward this bio-based economy.